What's going on, guys? Welcome to What's a Checkdown with Chandler and David. I am Chandler. He is David, with special guest today, Max Van Auken from the Max Van Auken Show, the MVP podcast. How are you doing, Max?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you guys having me. I always love doing podcasts with people. When you're the host, it's a lot of fun because you get to determine where the conversation goes. But then when you're a guest, you feel like you have no responsibility and all you get to do is just talk sports. So I freaking love it.
I feel the same way. I know David feels the same way too, because he just loves to just talk football all day, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that when we did our last podcast, I was loving it because literally no responsibility, just gotta show up and talk sports.
It's pretty much how it is.
Nothing better.
Episode 27, David, first 27 to come to mind in the NFL.
Just because they just had a game recently, I'm gonna go J.C. Jackson.
Okay.
He's 27. I think Henderson's also 27 on the Rams.
If I'm not mistaken. Do you have anyone, Max, that was in the NBA or in the NFL that would be a number 27 that you follow?
Someone played for the Rockets. 27's a Hall of Famer. I'm blanking on my name. I don't want to cheat and look it up, but there's someone on the Houston Rockets back in the day. Unless I'm crazy. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, you're looking it up. Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you hints. Don't worry. Okay, so let's see if this is right.
I know they hit like 27 threes, but no, number 27 on the Rockets.
So David, for the Ravens, there's a running back.
Oh, J.K. Dobbins.
Yes. So we have J.K. Dobbins. Another one is J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, that's my pick. Yeah.
We have Xavier Rhodes as well, and then Ronald Jones and Kareem Hunt.
There's also another 27 from the Ravens, but he's no longer in the league and didn't really look good for the league either.
Let's not talk about that. We have enough.
We'll just move on from now on.
I'm sure the Browns would sign him.
Yeah, I mean they signed the other guy. So.
Max, did you figure it out for the Rockets?
I'm like this close. Maybe I'm absolutely crazy. I know there was some players that wore 27, but as far as a Hall of Famer, I'm probably wrong. I know there was Tony Dumas wore 27, but then I'm trying to see if there was a Houston Rocket. Now this is bothering me, guys. I'm usually pretty good at spontaneous stuff like this. So this is
Zaza Pachulia, or however you say his name.
Jamal Murray wears 27, doesn't he?
Say again?
Doesn't Jamal Murray wear number 27?
David, you're Canadian.
Honestly, I don't think
he does. Jamal Murray does wear number 27. Yes, he does.
Hey, there you go. That's such an odd number for me for basketball. I feel like you got to be in the low numbers.
Alex Lynn, Nurkic. I don't know. Actually, what does Nurkic actually wear number 27?
It's not even a high number. Maybe not.
This is always really funny to me because you really don't know. You don't. Yeah, he does wear number 27. It's like something you would never, especially these numbers. 27 is such a weird number to wear.
Weird number for a big man too.
Yeah.
Zaza did.
Yep.
Okay. We only know Zaza because of the Warriors, but it's okay.
I mean, I know him because the Hawks, but that was yeah. When you play for the Hawks and when they actually were good with Jeff Teague and everything, that was a whole different.
We're all stars. Yeah.
So anyways, going straight into it, David, I know I asked you to get a few questions. I know I did as well. Just asking Max about what his journey is like, doing a great job. Also, honestly, you're one of the young minds in sports media that's really great listening to. You do outside the box things. You really like to connect teams and players to abstract objects. Like, come on now, like going and connecting someone to Bluetooth. Like, no one does that. You're doing these things that no one expects. So it's very interesting. I know David has a few questions. I'll let you take it away for a second, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question, and this is because I'm kind of a fan of Colin. And that show, I was wondering what it was like or what it is like working with the Herd.
Okay, that's a fantastic question. So first of all, thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate it. I did tell Colin Coward about the Bluetooth analogy, by the way. We were in lunch line, and I was like, all right, listen, I got something for you. And I was like, I don't even know if he's used it yet, but if he does. And I was like, listen, so I broke down the whole Bluetooth Braun, MJ was Wi-Fi. I'm like, but you keep talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and how Mahomes can connect to any player. I'm like, he has Bluetooth. He's like, Bluetooth? How so? And I was like, how? And I'm like, he's like, I like that. He's like, I may have to use that. I said, go right ahead. You go ahead and use it. But as far as Colin Coward, so he is the like people have role models growing up, and a lot of people was like Michael Jordan and LeBron. Like mine's Colin Coward. Like I knew I wanted to get in broadcasting early, so he was a huge reason why I fell in love with what I'm doing and why I wanted to do it. I listened to him literally religiously every day, like working out on my way to school, out like getting off. So when I like got this internship, and then I was like, oh, I'm working on the herd. I was like, this is my idol, and so there's been a lot of like surreal moments for me because he, like I said, he's the reason why I fell in love with it. And so I told him, I'm like, what you are to Nick Wright is what you are to me. And I was like, you are the huge reason why I fell in love with broadcasting. And we have like weird correlations. Like people have always like, hey, you remind me of Colin Coward. I'm like, well, because I want to be the best version of myself, but I modeled myself off of him because that's how I grew up, is with analogies. I don't come from a sports family. So when I needed to explain something to my dad who just likes movies, but he doesn't understand how good LeBron is. I'm like, he's like Tom Hanks. So I'm like, that's his impact. He's like, okay, wow, he's really good. So it'd be stuff like that. So I just naturally grew up like that. And so when I kept hearing him do it, I'm like, oh, people like that and it helps you understand. So I'm gonna start doing that. I like that. I know this went off on a rant, but working with him, he does like so much prep work before he actually goes on air. Like people just think he comes up there and just kind of talks for 3 hours. He has to talk for 3 hours and be entertaining every day. And so it's like his amount of prep work and what he does is like unbelievable. It's insane. And so being able to like learn from him and have conversations with him, and he covered the Magic early on in his career, and he did boxing early on in his career, like I did. So I was like, it was just so crazy. And so it just feels like a movie working with him and picking his brain.
I love that. It's funny. We talk about especially in sports reporting. Everyone has a cadence, right? Everyone has their own version, and obviously at a young age, you pick that up from him. Like for me, my guy was always Stuart Scott. Like I love Stuart Scott till the day I die. I have his book behind me. I have 2 cards of him behind me. Like he's my guy. Probably the biggest inspiration for me. So I know exactly how you feel growing up on someone. That's really what you focus on. And I hear that in your cadence too. When you're reporting, when you're talking, you have that Colin actual cadence with you. So that's what I hear, and that's what I really like for it. I don't know if David just ran away from us. Okay, he's back. Okay. But David, what was your next question? Or if you have anything to go off on that as well.
Okay, well, just because you were talking about movies, now I have questions, but I kind of want to know what's like your favorite, like, let's say favorite sports movie, and then maybe what genre are you like really, really into right now?
Oh, that's a good question. So my favorite sports movie, does Rocky count? Like, I don't know if you count Rocky, but like
Yeah,
Rocky, I know technically it's boxing, so it's sports, but like that was, I can't tell you, I've watched that movie, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, I skip 5. I watched those movies probably more than any other movie in my life. Like they're so inspirational. Like David Goggins, I don't know if you know who he is, but like the Navy SEAL who breaks all the records in like personal fitness,
yeah,
he was inspired
yeah.
by Rocky. Like Rocky has just always been that whole overlooked get up. You fall down, you're gonna get up. Like you fall down 6 times, you get up 7. Like I don't know, I just it may be a little corny, but I freaking love it. Like it never gets old to me. So Rocky be my favorite sports movie, but a close second recently. It always used to be Coach Carter, but then it switched to King Richard with Will Smith, based off Serena Williams, Serena and
Yeah,
Venus.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Freaking fantastic movie, and I watched that the other night. And as far as my favorite genre, I'm 100% falling in the general public with the whole Marvel thing going on. But
Hey, there we go.
like at the end of the day, they may not like win the awards or like be sophisticated and perfect movies, but they're so much fun. So the Marvel movies are my favorite, but I'm always good. I always love a good documentary or like the scene behind the scenes of the journey. Like Kanye, I know Kanye's kind of crazy right now, but the Kanye West thing that he released on Netflix, which is more of a show, not a movie. The Conor McGregor Notorious film. Like I'm always into seeing people and their journey, and that's kind of why I like King Richard's thing so much too.
Yeah. Oh no, that's awesome. I'm a big Marvel fan, so anyone who likes Marvel is good with me.
The
I
gang
think.
Literally, if you look at my background, that's like
Yeah, I
my
mean Chandler
life,
too.
right? So
Yeah.
being in Orlando, obviously living in Orlando, Marvel is bred into your blood here. So I agree with that one as well.
Heck yeah, the King Dynasty, that's going to be really good. They said Robert Downey Jr. is going to return for that possibly. There was like a leak. And then I'm seeing, Black Adam's DC, but I know that the whole Superman coming back, and then they're talking about like a crossover. I'm all for it. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah, I wanted to get crazy. I wanted if they do a crossover, they could take all my money right now. Like that would be insane.
Do you think, okay, now do you think they could really pull it off? Like, obviously, the story doesn't need to be great with the whole multiverse thing. You can make it work. But, like, would it come off kind of like, okay, this is like I don't know if you liked the Superman, Doomsday, Wonder Woman thing. Like, I thought it was great. I thought I liked it because it's just really cool. I like those people. But as far as like the movie, I mean, all of a sudden they're fighting in lava. I don't even know where the lava came from. Like, do you think it would just be like overdone amount of like just straight fighting, or do you think they would actually make it work?
Honestly, I think if sorry,
No, go ahead. No, nerd it out. No, because like honestly, I'll tell you, I'm wearing a Marvel. I'm actually wearing a Marvel shirt right now too.
Wow. Okay.
It depends who the director is. At this point,
Yeah,
Marvel
that's what I was
movies are
gonna say.
so, and Marvel and just comic book movies are so based on how true the director wants to go with the actual comic book they're basing off. Everyone forgets all these stories have been written. When people are like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna ruin this, they're gonna ruin that," you can read this. It has been done. It just depends if you're going to or not, and then if you're gonna base the show or movie based on what's already been written previously, right? So that's how I feel about it. But go ahead, David.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, kind of, if you're gonna do something at that scale, you have to get the right director or the right directors, and I think it would have to be multiple directors doing something like that because, like, I think you would want someone who's kind of more low budget, so then you can really get into the story of it, and that, like, if you really want to do it right, you'd want someone who's done more like indie type stuff, like who's more established in that realm, and then someone who's done like big budget stuff as well. And if you could pair that together, I think that's a combination that could work. I don't know how like movie making really works, like the
Yeah.
ins and outs of it, but in my head, that makes the most sense.
Let's make every movie like the Batman, and I'm honestly good to go.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So David, do you have any more questions you want to ask on your side?
Oh, my last question is, what's your hottest sports take right now?
My hottest sports take right now would be between two things that I just posted. Number one, trade Anthony David. Number two, the Los Angeles Clippers are like the Cheesecake Factory. And I said they're like the Cheesecake Factory. I personally like the Cheesecake Factory, but I know a lot of people complain because they have such a big menu, but yet the food isn't really that good. And so that's why I said the Clippers are like. I'm like, they have a really good menu. They have more than you can order. They have an elite front office. They have a nice coach. They have a nice roster. They have talent. So you want to like it. Like you want to like this restaurant so badly, but then the product is just always bad food. Like they always disappoint every single time. So I'm not sold. And then as far as Anthony Davis, I know it's NFL season, but of course I'm an NBA guy at heart. But I've been going all in NFL. But when it comes to a hot take, everyone keeps talking about Russell Westbrook. And we already know what the market is like. We already know it doesn't fit. So if you know that you can't really get what you really want, why settle for something you don't want? Trade the guy now, Anthony Davis, because we're never going to get New Orleans Anthony Davis ever again. We're not going to get bubble AD again. He may have a couple good games, but we're not going to get that consistent domination. So if you can get the most for him right now while his value's high before he gets injured, you need to do it now. And that's why I think they need to trade Anthony Davis.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
We have a thing where NFL Russ W is the same as NBA Russ W. To me, they're very comparable players. They're out of their prime for the most part. I would say they're going down. They can still have flashes of greatness, but what night are you going to get the great Russ W? You never know anymore.
I like it.
My question for you is going to be just very simple, very easy. What's the next step?
For me?
Yeah.
Right now, so I have two goals. The first, and I've told every producer I can this. I've told every person that's worth that can affect my career this. And my number one, my long-term goal is I want to be the best broadcaster to ever do it. That's just my goal. If you're not doing it to be the best, then why are you doing it? So I don't mind saying that. And so what comes with that is with this next wave of content creation and podcast and TikToks, I want to be at the forefront of that. And a lot of the times especially where like I'm from Daytona Beach, and I just know the stigma that I'm from. Most people, when they get out of high school, they want to be an athlete, a rapper, an artist. Like, they don't necessarily want to be, like, I've never heard, like, I can't wait to be a sports broadcaster. And so typically, it's not like a popular thing to get into until people start seeing you talking to cool people. And then, like, oh, that's so cool what you're doing. But at first, it's like, you have a podcast. Oh, that's cool. But I want to get that stigma away, and I want to be the youngest to do it. And so, when you look on these televisions and you watch all these sports shows, there's no one really young. Like, they may be in their late 30s or 40s. They're not young, but you have yet a whole demographic that's young, that debates all the time in the gym, that debates all the time with their friends. No one's really appealing to them. And I'm like, I can do that. So that's my next step, is I want to be the youngest to do it and break that little barrier that's set up. The temporary goal is, what can I do to make sure I stay here and not go back? And so if that means being the best producer, the best editor at the moment, whatever it takes, that's what I want to do. So that's what's next for me as of right now. Hopefully within this month, I can have a really, really good answer for you. So we'll see.
And that's what I was going to ask you too, because I lived in Daytona for a while. I know exactly what you're talking about. I lived in Daytona for a year. I'm actually originally from Jacksonville, Florida. I live in Orlando now, so I'm actually in Orlando. And for me, I've been to LA. I've been all around Florida, so I know what your journey kind of looks like and what the shell shock is for you. Truly.
No way.
Yeah.
When did you live in Daytona?
I lived in Daytona about 2 years ago. 3 years ago. I was in yes, sir. We can talk about that another time. We'll dive deeper in that. But yes, sir. Actually, one of the reasons why I actually found out about you was I helped someone that was an avid listener to your podcast, and I'm like, okay. He's like, follow this guy. He's gonna blow up. He's doing great. And this was, God, I don't even think you hit episode 100 yet. So this was like, yeah. So I sat down and listened to you. That was when I reached out to you the first time on my previous podcast. And then, yeah, from here, I'm still in Florida. I'm still in Orlando. So I wanted to ask you, what was it like when you got off the plane in LA and you kind of looked around? What were the emotions that you were feeling?
Bro, first of all, I'm blown away right now about everything you just told me. Like, this is such a small world. What just happened? I knew I remember you talking about Orlando, but I'm like, Orlando technically is a big city, though. Yeah. I've been so familiar with it. I don't usually think of Orlando as a big city, but it is. It's a lot of tourism. So I'm like, okay, you live in Orlando, but Daytona, I don't know what the chance of that is. As far as getting off the plane, I'm like I would like to call myself a nice, good person, but like, I'm very competitive and I'm very goal driven. And so like, when I'm in that mode of like, I have a goal, like, I didn't look at this as like, oh, this is a really cool time, and like, oh, this is going to be fun. It's LA. I'm like, as soon as I got off the plane, I'm like, it's go time. Like, from right then there, I'm here to make an impact, and I'm here to like take over. And so it was really just about getting my things situated and what can I want to get started right now. And so this has felt more of like a mission. And I know we talked about Rocky earlier. It's like when he went to Russia, and it's like he didn't have any friends, he didn't have any family members. He was in that log cabin and he's focusing on the mission. And that's what it feels like here. Like, I take public transportation. I don't have my car, so I'm not going out. I don't know anyone around here. It's literally work, first one in, last one to leave. They have to kick me out the building. And then I come back here, I work out and I do my podcast, and it's like repeat. And so since I've been in here, I feel like I've hit like a different gear. Not that I wasn't like focused before, but like now I literally can't do anything else. So even if I wanted to go to Jacksonville to go roller skating, which I would do, or if I wanted to go to Orlando and go skating, or if I wanted to go hang out with some friends, I'm not even a big party or anything like that, but I could do that. Here, I don't know anyone. I can't do anything. It takes an hour to get anywhere on a public transportation bus. There's characters in the morning, there's characters at night, so you want to be careful. Like, I have no choice but to take over. So my feeling, to answer your, I know I'm always going on a rant. My feeling was to just take over. It's a dream come true. I wanted this internship for over 3.5 years. And this is a true story. Rob Parker and Chris Broussard took me under their wing, and I was supposed to go through Rob Parker, but the pandemic happened. So I was like, dang. So I had to wait, and I had all my clothes packed in bins already. I had all my classes that I'm taking in school were online just for this reason, so I can go out there and have the flexibility, and I had to wait for 3.5 years. But now that it was here, I'm like, this just feels like a dream. Like, it's just every day it feels crazy.
That's amazing. Honestly, wish you the best. And you say that you keep going on rants. I think this is great for you. I don't know if you actually got an opportunity to talk on screen about how you feel in like your life. So I feel like you're letting out a lot right now that you might not have had an opportunity to before.
No, you're 100% correct. I normally like I talked about it on my podcast, but I'm like, I don't know. It feels weird when I'm talking about it on my podcast. It feels weird, like I don't mean to toot my own horn type of thing. You know what I mean? And so like when someone asks me it, I can like, okay, I could really dive in depth with it now. And usually when people have me on their shows, it's really about the sports. And so I love talking about the journeys, and that's usually what I talk about with people anyway. So I appreciate you asking those questions.
Of course, appreciate the answers as well. They're amazing answers. David, do you have anything else before we go into the next part here?
No, Dad. Listening to you, man, I'm inspired. You know how you were talking about Rocky inspiring you? I'm inspired just listening to you, man. Like just like having that drive, just like that single-minded drive. I always respect people who have that because like I don't know, I have ADHD, so I'm like all over the place doing everything I can. So like seeing people just like single-minded, like just want to get their goal done. I'm always inspired by that. Love it. I wish you the best, and I hope to see you blowing up soon enough here, becoming the best uh, broadcaster or in the game. You know, the youngest broadcaster in the game. I'm really excited. I love that kind of stuff. So like, I'll be keeping up with it for sure.
I really appreciate that. And it's all about like helping each other too, because I got really fortunate to be surrounded, like I position myself with really, really helpful, nice people. And they always help me. So that's why like the least I could do is always do that. And I like I'm just very obsessed. You know what I mean? Like it would be an unhealthy quality if it was doing something that wasn't good for you. But luckily I found something that I like that's good for me. So it's like
Yeah,
I'm just very obsessed and just really hungry. And so it's like, and if you like doing it and you just like, I would do this if I wasn't even achieving these things. You know what I mean? Like I love it. Even when I'm not there, I'm watching the shows or I'm listening to podcasts. Like it's what I would do anyway. So it's like, man, it's like, I don't know. I don't find it like I'm putting in so much work, even though it is like work and you are working hard. It's because you love what you do. And so, yeah, just obsessed, man.
love it.
Yeah, I agree. I hope you know David played college football. I don't think he actually wants to run through a wall more now than he ever has in his life. Like you have him ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
So now the main part of our show after that beautiful part of that, we're gonna go straight into NBA and NFL comparisons. I know this is one of Mac's biggest things, so I thought this would be perfect. I just thought of a few teams. I'm like, you know what? They kind of connect. I see them every time I play or they play. So you know what? I kind of feel like we should talk about that. What teams make sense in the NBA and the NFL together? So I'll let one of you start. Whoever would like to start. Does anybody have a comparison that they would like to go with?
I'll just give a quick precursor. I don't have teams. I have individuals and coaches.
I like it.
So like I'm going with that kind of comparison.
That's really good. I actually have quarterback to NBA players put aside but for your, I haven't even done that yet. But I have it written out. I just haven't done a podcast on it yet. But for your teams, I think the obvious one, like it's just, there's two really obvious ones for me. The first one, and I don't mean to steal any of you if you're doing this, the Russ and the Russ. Like you have to think Lakers, Broncos, crazy dysfunction, high aspirations. Russell Wilson's not cooking. Russell Westbrook's not cooking. It's like now, granted, Nathaniel Hackett and Ham probably don't pair, but as far as just two historical franchises with a lot of success in the past that are used to greatness, high expectations, and then for them to just completely bomb the way that they've been bombing, that would come to mind. And then the other team, you probably have to think Patrick Mahomes, Steph Curry, Warriors, Chiefs, dynasty thing going here. So that'll be the first two that come to my head.
So
Yeah, I sorry, just real quick. The Patrick Mahomes and Warriors thing I really like that one because it's like two juggernauts and they're always good. Even when you're like, oh, they might not be good, they always end up in the finals or semifinals. So it's like
Yep.
great one for sure.
I went a little different. I actually went the first one was going to be the Lakers, but actually with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you have the greatest player of all time comes to a new team. His first year, they kill it. Or his first couple years, he kill it. They kill it. They do great. They win the championship. And after that, there's been dysfunction ever since. There hasn't been a clear cut. They've been going in and out of coaches. There's some like back office stuff that happens. They have great players around them, but not coming together as a team. And you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know how much longer that player is going to be there. There's been talks of that player possibly leaving that team. One even had to retire and come back. So I went with the Lakers and the Buccaneers. My other one is actually the Milwaukee Bucks and the Kansas City Chiefs. Arguably one of the best players in the league, arguably the best MVP in the league. It is incredible. A team that has great stars all the way around, has a great supporting cast, and here's the important part. They have a head coach that was a coach to another team that was tossed aside as soon as they started to fail in a specific way. Mike Budenholzer with the Atlanta Hawks, Andy Reid with the Eagles. He goes to a new team, and he wins the championship there.
Those are on the money. But I would have one rebuttal. And by the way, that Brady and Braun, those were my comparisons with the QB to player. So you're on the money with that.
Right?
And for the one rebuttal I would have with the Chiefs and the Bucks, though, is the Chiefs have been labeled as a little bit of the modern NFL dynasty. And dynasties are hard work because they only have one championship, right? But they've been to the Super Bowl multiple times. They obviously have been the AFC champions multiple times. The Bucks only have one ring and one trip to the finals.
I agree.
But I'm leaning a little bit with the Bucks to the Bills just because they're not the dynasty of the Chiefs, but Josh Allen is a freak of nature that we haven't seen before, jumping over people 6'6", and Giannis is a freak of nature we haven't seen before. And yet they have the success of a top-tier franchise, and they could be a dynasty in the making. They just need to get over that hurdle. That's what I'm leaning towards.
I like that too. Another one I had, I'll go straight into this, is the Miami Heat and the Baltimore Ravens. Because they have a superstar player that people always count out, but people don't always want to play with them, don't always get along, but you either love the Heat or you hate the Heat, or you love the Ravens, or you hate the Ravens. They have that same kind of mentality. They have that game, that version of they somehow always come up top. They always are one of the top teams in the league, but no one expects them to get there, ever, all the time. They had early success in the 2000s, early success in the 2010s, and now they're trying to have early success again in the 2020s.
I like this. You're making me want to go get my notebook. That's what you're making. A lot of analogies on my head for the quarterbacks. That's really good. I like that.
All right, David, your players. Who you got for players?
Okay, so my first player I got Odell is the Derrick Rose of the NFL.
Ooh.
So for me, it's not that Odell is a direct comparison, but the way that the trajectory of their careers were supposed to go and how it's been so far is almost identical for different reasons and a little bit of the same. Now, Odell at the start of his career was more attitude and like his locker room stuff. Derrick Rose, I'd never really known him to be like a locker room disturber, but either way, he got injured. He was supposed to be one of the best to do it. Odell was supposed to be one of the best to do it. Now they're kind of just bouncing around teams and can't really stay healthy. Derrick Rose is still a pretty good player to have on the team. Odell is still a pretty good player to have on the team. I feel like that's like a pretty decent comparison.
I like that one. I want you to know right now, Derrick Rose and Odell are closer than you think they are because OBJ won Rookie of the Year, correct?
Yeah.
And Derrick Rose is the youngest MVP of all time. No wide receiver is going to win the MVP. I'm sorry. So right there's a great comparison. Every player loves playing with both of those guys in the NBA and in the NFL. Don't forget, Odell is brings the locker room together. Without Odell, the Rams don't win the Super Bowl last year. And it's not just the way he played, it's the way he brought that locker room together. Same with Derrick Rose, how he actually came to the Knicks, and the Knicks actually became decent when he was there. So at the end of his career, up to this point as well. So it's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah. No, I agree. You can go grab your notebook. Grab your notebook.
Check this out.
Yeah.
So I got it right here. Check this out. So I might as well do it right here while we're here, right? So I was like, man, I'm actually, there's like a set that I'm trying to get on to make the video for this, but why not announce it on your podcast? So this is what I'm thinking. I got so many notes. All right. these are my picks, right? Here we go. Or hold on,
David,
because
fix
I
your
did.
camera.
Oh, I thought my camera's crazy.
No, you're good.
Here we go. I don't even need my notebook. It's on my notes digitally. So here, okay, we already said the Brady LeBron. I don't even think we need to get into that. I'm gonna just give you two other ones. I said Mahomes Curry. I said Allen Giannis. I said Lamar and John Morant. Freakish speed,
Yep.
talent, leaps off the screen. Both are dogs. They get the job done no matter who or what is in front of them. They're just lethal, scary guys. The other one that there's two other interesting ones I'll give you. Justin Herbert and Luka, because they're both like, oh, that could be the next face. Fundamentally, we've never seen like a prettier ball thrown than Justin Herbert. Like, it's ridiculous. Luka's fundamentals at his age, we've never seen like that. Like we keep saying Larry Bird and Magic combined, they're just stupid, but yet we're waiting for them to win. The last one I'll give you for right now is Rodgers and Durant. Both like generational talents, but both aren't good leaders in my opinion. And like they're always just a little bit different, always going against the grain, always going against the media, always finding something to tweet about. And they're just different cats. But yet we want them to be like Tom Brady. We want Kevin Durant to be like LeBron, but that's not in their personal DNA and makeup to be like that. And so Kevin Durant's always been number two, even though he's always had the talent to be a number one. And so with Aaron Rodgers, we always think he could be the best, but he's always been behind Tom Brady's shadow. And so that's why I made that one. But there you go. I found him.
Dang, that last one, the Durant and Aaron Rodgers, I would have never thought of that. That's like actually a perfect pairing.
David doesn't like either of those people.
They both. Well, okay. I actually don't mind Durant. Like for real, I don't mind Durant. I think he's a little bit childish in the way he goes about things, but like that's just who he is. That's his temperament. That's fine. I despise Aaron Rodgers with a passion. I think he's a bad leader. He's never really been a good leader, and he's still not a good leader. And like I thought, like once he like aged a little bit, he's been in the league for a while. He'll be able to be more accountable. Nope, just the same old Aaron Rodgers. So for me, I just like Aaron Rodgers is out of the question for me, but that's a great pairing. I like it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I had a Kyler Murray, Trey Young one too, but yeah, I like Trey Young.
No, I actually like Trey Young. I was gonna say like Kyler Murray is
They're
like
both
kind of
Oklahoma.
James Harden-ish to me, if anything. Like he's supposed to have all the weapons and everything. He's supposed to bring the team together, but for some reason he just doesn't. It just doesn't work. Every team like Kyler, I feel like we may be seeing the end of Kyler a lot sooner than we think.
Well,
And
let's just pump our brakes a little bit. Give him a better coach, and then we can talk. That's all I have to say about that. But I also have a coaching comparison that I think you guys might like, and it's out of the box. But Eric Spoelstra and Mike Tomlin, they're more comparable than you think. Very good coaches, always have their teams in winning situations. You always think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be down and out, and then boom, they come back. They have like a winning season. A little bit less for Tomlin because I think like winning season in the NFL is a little bit different than winning season in the NBA. But I think those two are really good comparisons for again trajectories of careers and how they've gone. They both I think have one. Well, I think Spoelstra has two championships.
three
Three championships.
PC won
Yeah.
with Dwayne, with Shaq and Wade, and then they won two with the yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah. So a little bit more rings for Spoelstra, but I think like in terms of like coaches that have stuck around in the league and like have like just like had the same kind of career, I think they're like those coaches that you can never really say, oh, that team is going to be bad this year because they don't have good coaching. You always expect them to, even with bad players, come out and have good seasons.
I like that. The consistency. Yeah, he's never had a losing season. You can't. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I think Mike Tomlin actually won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers as well as the defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm crazy. Not as a defensive coordinator, but so he actually won as a defensive backs coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So technically he has two. So
yeah.
if you want to be technical too, Spo probably has rings as a film guy.
Yeah,
like
somewhere. He won for the Portland Community College too, the championship down there or whatever it was too. So, I like that. Obviously Bill Belichick and Popovich. I mean,
Yeah, I try to stay away from that. But I do have a Spurs one too.
I'm gonna tell
okay.
you
I
why
went,
that does work though, because
yeah.
we've never seen Pop win post Duncan. I don't care what people say, and we haven't seen Bill win post Brady.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, that's very true, and I don't think we're gonna see either of them win
Nope.
post those guys. To be honest, I think the league has kind of outgrown their coaching style, and unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna get talent on their roster. I think they're just gonna be middle of the pack for a while. But
Yeah.
my last comparison is actually Peyton Manning and Tim Duncan. I think those two are kind of, and this one is just because those two were my favorite players for so long. So this is
Duncan.
more of a, yeah, dude, Tim Duncan, more of a personal. I was a big Spurs fan when I was growing up, and then
Okay.
like I kind of dropped off of basketball for a while. Now I'm coming back into it, kind of still a Spurs fan, but I don't think they're ever gonna win again. So it's like it is what it is. But yeah, no, Peyton was my favorite player. That's uh, I got like Madden 2004 or something like that, and the first player I used was Peyton with the Colts, and he was money, and so it's like that's my guy. Colts are my team,
He goes on
and
to
so
love the Eli Manning and the New York Giants now.
yeah,
So,
and now I'm a big Giants fan. So I
and then
mean,
when whoever Arch goes to, he's going to be a huge Arch Manning fan when he gets to the
just
NFL.
just a big Manning family fan in general. Yeah.
Should the Manning's mom be in the Hall of Fame at this point?
Oh, 100%.
uh, I have one comparison. I do like that comparison. This one for your Trey Young one. Trey Young and Jalen Hurts, the Hawks and the Eagles. Two people that people always count out, that they say that it isn't there yet, isn't number one, but for some reason they actually do lead the league in a certain statistic or something like that. Jalen is one of the best running quarterbacks, and then Trey Young leads the league in points. They do a great job of being the undersized underdog, but their team rallies around them, and they are literally the face of that city. Trey Young, I would say, is one of the biggest faces of Atlanta, and Jalen Hurts, people are starting to believe in him. They're known for their ugly wins. They're known for just dumb things, and a city really, both of them, known for getting to the end, but never really being able to finish the job. I know Atlanta Braves won last year, and I know the Eagles won a couple years ago, but other than that, the cities don't necessarily always win, even though they're the city of champions.
And they're both really good college athletes, like putting up just stupid numbers. So that's a
And
really good analogy.
Oklahoma boys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is Oklahoma.
Take that. That's a good one, man. I'm gonna have to credit you on that one when I break it down.
You're good. This is again all used, does not matter. But that was one that I liked. Do you guys have anything else, or do we want to go on to the this versus that?
Oh, let's
I just
keep this. Oh wait,
I'm Tim Duncan, to put respect on his name, is a top 10 player of all time. I've just never met a Tim Duncan fan. Like, he's just like, you don't think of like someone, like, he's not a high personality. He doesn't even speak. We don't even know what happened when he retired. Like, he's like doing karate in like Thailand. Like, you just never hear of Tim Duncan. Like, I've heard him say like 8 words my whole life. And so I just never met a Tim Duncan fan.
dude, I don't know what it is. I just like again being young and just watching him play. I was like, hey, like my guy's just good, and and like at first now I'm a big shit talker, but before I used to be like
Silent and
respectful, like
humble. Yeah, David was
yeah,
really
silent and humble.
quiet.
Yeah,
That was very
it's
much
good that
David.
yeah, that was me. So I was like, hey, that's my guy. But now I'm more into the shit talkers, like the Mahomes, the Brady's. They talk shit and they back it up. So I love that.
Okay, all right. You got a little Conor McGregor to you.
Yeah, I love Conor
Oh my
McGregor.
god,
I don't like his off the off the
the ring.
ring stuff, but like Conor McGregor in the ring is a dog.
Okay. All right. You know your stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go now into this versus that. This is gonna be teams that we want to see win the Super Bowl. David, you're gonna do the AFC. Max, you're gonna do the NFC. So, David, we'll start with you. We're gonna start with the AFC South, the team that you want to see the Super Bowl: the Houston Texans or the Indianapolis Colts.
I'll go Colts.
Colts or the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags.
Yeah, Jaguars or the Tennessee Titans.
Jags.
That is loving your co-host is what that is. All right. Max, NFC South. Would you rather see the Atlanta Falcons or the Carolina Panthers win a Super Bowl?
Falcons.
The Falcons or the New Orleans Saints?
Saints.
The New Orleans Saints or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Buccaneers.
All right. So David,
I don't want them to get a ring. Sorry.
that's
Can do it.
that's fair. So we're going with Saints, right?
Yeah. Oh no, Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. Sorry, my bad. But going now to the AFC East, David, the Buffalo Bills or the Miami Dolphins?
Full of Bills.
Buffalo Bills or the New England Patriots?
For the parody, I want to see the Patriots.
You want to see the Patriots win a Super Bowl? Okay.
Yeah.
New England Patriots or the New York Jets?
Jets all the way. I want to see the Jets.
Really?
Even more for the parody. I would love to see the Jets win the Super Bowl.
Okay. What year did they, or what was the only Super Bowl they won? Do you know which one it was?
The first one.
3. Super Bowl number 3.
I was close.
Yeah. Okay. So Max, NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants?
Giants.
Let's go.
The New York Giants or the Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm gonna go Giants.
Hey.
The New York Giants or the Washington Commanders?
Giants.
Good. Don't ever choose the Commanders with all the crap they have going on right now in there.
I was gonna lean a little bit towards the Eagles, but I love what Daboll's doing. I like a really good story. I love the fact that they win really close games. They rally from behind, and if there's like any team that knows how to somehow wiggle into a spot that they're usually not supposed to be in, it's the Giants. So I like it.
Absolutely.
David, you're not to talk. That's why I made him do the NFC. All right, David.
You know who would have gone to the Super Bowl if I did the NFC.
David, AFC North, Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals?
Ravens.
Yeah, I assumed. Baltimore Ravens or the Cleveland Browns?
Oh, Ravens, easily.
Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Ravens.
Okay, I assume that I'm getting a feel of who David is at now after 27 episodes. All right, Max, NFC North, Chicago Bears or the Detroit Lions?
Oh my God, I'll go Lions.
Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers?
I'll go Packers.
Okay, Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings?
Vikings.
Okay, only because of Justin Jefferson, not Kirk Cousins.
Hey, leave Kirk alone, man.
I like what they're doing. I just like they're a really good roster. You know, I think Kirk obviously isn't like a Burrow, Mahomes, or an Allen, but he like finally has the support of the coach, and like they have a nice group of talent, and they have a good schedule, and so I feel like they're going to make some noise, but they're not in like the Super Bowl bubble.
I've made this comparison a lot of times. Kirk Cousins is if you took Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford and put them together, and Kevin McConnell coached both those guys. So he literally so that is the pick there. David, AFC West, Denver Broncos or Kansas City Chiefs?
Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs or Los Angeles Chargers?
Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs or Las Vegas Raiders?
Raiders.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Big Derek Carr fan.
We support Derek Carr.
Yeah. I want him to get a win. I want him to get one.
Yeah. Vegas is money. That's a move that they did.
Yeah.
NFC West, Max, Arizona Cardinals or Los Angeles Rams?
Rams.
Los Angeles Rams or the San Francisco 49ers?
I'll go Rams.
Los Angeles Rams or Seattle Seahawks?
Rams.
All right, we're going back to back with the Rams. Okay, so now I got to go with David, AFC. Reason for the Rams.
I was leaning towards Shanahan and the Niners, and I really like if we're just like going who's the better team right now, the 49ers are a better team right now. But I really like McVay, and I really think that they're going to be able I don't know. I really rally behind McVay and what he does. And so even though Shanahan usually gets the best of him, and I think they're going to be the better team this year, I just for some reason find myself rooting for the Rams. So
it's the LA and you. They got.
I was gonna say. All right, David. So we're gonna go AFC first: Jacksonville Jaguars or the New York Jets.
Jaguars.
Jacksonville Jaguars or the Baltimore Ravens.
Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens or Las Vegas Raiders.
Ravens.
So Ravens are the winner of the AFC. Max, Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the New York Giants?
Buccaneers.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Minnesota Vikings?
Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Los Angeles Rams?
Buccaneers. I want to see Brady win another one.
All right, so the two teams that we have decided that we want to see win the Super Bowl is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm definitely going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I do not want to see a Tampa Bay Buccaneers win a Super Bowl.
Really?
Not
yeah,
at all.
he hates Tom Brady.
Not.
Okay, I'll let you speak for yourself. In my experience, Chandler does not like Tom Brady. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I am not a big Tom Brady lover. The reason being, and this is quick, everyone knows how I feel. The Patriots early in his career were truly a team, and people kind of put it all like he was the team. I know it changed later in his career. He proved that he could go, but come on, he went to the best roster in the NFL that just needed a quarterback. People forget that this offense put up over 30 touchdowns a year with Jameis Winston. He just threw 30 interceptions as well. This was a great offense. He had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski. Like, let's pump the brakes with a great defense. He is a GOAT. I will absolutely say that, but Tom Brady is not going to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Okay, time out. That was just a smart move. You can't get mad at him.
No,
for
I
making a
agree.
smart move.
But you
And
also
then
don't know my conspiracy theory of why Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, but that's a whole nother story.
And he's not a GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yes, I agree with that, but he is not a top 5 quarterback of all time.
What? Come
He's
on.
crazy. He's crazy. I'm telling you.
I was
Skills wise, he's not like the actual position. But when it comes to being the GOAT, he is absolutely the GOAT. 100%. I'll give that to him.
How could you be the greatest of all time but not a top 5 in your position?
Because winning is different. Like Oscar Robertson, they didn't put anything on him, right? So Wilt Chamberlain, like, two of the greatest, but like they don't talk about them being the greatest of all time. It's a different time, it's a different era. I always say that the reason why Patrick Mahomes is like people don't realize how good, for example, Dan Marino was. Like, do you realize this man in 1985 threw for 50 touchdowns in 1985? Like that's not even that record wasn't broken until 2014. Can we think about that for a second? That is insane. So
It's like saying you don't think it's like saying you think Bill Russell's the GOAT.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a different time, and I'm not going to get too deep into that. But to me, Tom Brady is absolutely the greatest of all time when it comes to skills wise. Even right now, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Josh Allen will probably be number 2 skill wise. If we're talking about position skill wise, they changed the game. That's going to be like that.
Wait, one quick question, Max. How many Super Bowls does Mahomes have to win to usurp Tom Brady?
I think it's going to be like a Tiger Woods Nicholson type of thing, where he's not going to have as many, or it's going to be like a Braun MJ in my opinion. So I think if he gets 4, then we could be like, yeah, he's better. He's a better player, and he has 4 rings. Even though Brady has 7 rings, those 4 and how he did it, like, okay, we can make an argument for that. Like, MJ has 6 rings. I think Braun is better, but Braun only has 4. So you have to have the hardware, but how you got them and the player you are still matters. But 3, you can't have less than half. But if you have more than half and how you did it, you can make that case.
I respect it. 4 is my number 2, so I definitely agree with that.
All right, I'm talking.
Yeah, I agree. And people don't go back and look at the Super Bowls that Tom Brady won in his career and
It's not good.
Like the first 3, like David always talks about how the Patriots have had a top 10 defense literally every year that Tom Brady was there. Patrick Mahomes.
The last 10 years, top 10 defense. I think. Actually, no. I think longer. I think maybe like 15 years, top 10 defense in the league. So I mean, and even this year, they're top 10 right now.
I'm trying to hold my tongue. That's all. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Chandler could write a book on this topic, and it would be like 1,000 pages. And so we just never let him we never let him get out of control with the Tom Brady talk.
Anyways,
That's correct.
we'll go into. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about? Are we okay with wanting the Baltimore Ravens to win a Super Bowl? I'm pretty okay with that.
Go Buccaneers, but it's to each his own.
I'm okay with it. I want Lamar to get at least one, just one. That's all I need.
David was really hurt when you did not pick the Giants there. I really saw
No,
it.
I wasn't hurt. You said you wanted Brady to win another one. I respect it. I honestly, if Brady wins another one, that would be insane to me. I don't
Yeah,
think it's gonna happen, but that would be insane for the story alone. Crazy.
Does he
Yeah,
win
I love-
another one?
yeah.
He does?
Well, no, actually, no. You're right. I was too quick to say yeah. I just hate betting against him. But if this is his last year, I don't think he wins it this year. And
Yeah.
so, and no, he doesn't. But if he just like, you know what, I'm now not to get in his personal life, but if he doesn't have like the whole married thing going against him anymore, he probably play a little couple more years. So if he does a couple more years, then I think he has one more. If this is his last year, then he doesn't.
If he gets a divorce, he can keep playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to say no. And then before you know it, he's a single man on the field until he's 50. So
Making these kids feel like his real kids as he's playing. So best bets now. We can finish off with that. David, do you want to talk about your best bets, your 3 picks that's going into this week?
Okay, so for my best bets this week, I've got the New York Giants covering +3. I got Houston Texans also covering at +7, and I've got the New York Jets covering at +1. And they play the Broncos, so I think that's like a pretty safe bet, at least after last week.
That's a pick'em game. That's what that is when it's a +1.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. We are obviously doing Jaguars versus Giants this week, so we both had to go with that. For me, my best bets are Jaguars -3 to beat the Giants, which is an even game. The Detroit Lions +7 against the Cowboys, and the Carolina Panthers +11, because I'm sorry, that's just way too many points. That's like the Panthers, I feel like they're bound to do something decent, right? At this point of the season.
Well, is it PJ Tucker that's the quarterback, or PJ whatever?
He's better than Baker and Sam Darnold at this point. So, I mean, he was winning games with them at least. And anytime there's a coaching change, I know it didn't really go so well last week. Interim coaches kind of get this thing around them where they have nothing to lose. No matter what, they're not going to be the coach next year. So might as well just make the best out of it. If we suck, we suck. But if we do great, maybe we'll actually have a good job next week or next year. So that's how I look at it for them.
Quick question: what's the earliest a coach has ever been fired in the NFL? Because I feel like Matt Rule got fired really early in the season.
Oh, in the season, yeah, but don't forget he's been there for 3 years.
But game 5?
Earliest head coach firing NFL. Max, I know you don't have all your picks yet. Do you have anything you would go with right now?
I'm looking. So I have a formula. I've been taught this method because I'm like, okay, listen, I'm watching football, I'm listening to football, I'm talking football. It's time that I bet football. Last week was my first time putting my actual picks out, and I got 60%. I was 3-2. Vegas, like, if you can get 60%, I'm like, okay, I'm happy with 60%. So I'm looking right now, and I look at the money line and stuff. So if I were to go right now, so this isn't confirmed, but if I would go right now, I'd go out on a limb with the 49ers. They're +1 as of right now.
Yeah.
Go on a limb and go with that. And then, which looks like no one is going with that. So like a high risk, but obviously incredibly high reward. And then the Chargers, almost nobody's putting their money there. And they're -8.5. So those are two that I'm leaning towards because no one's doing it. That's what I'm leaning towards.
I like it.
We'll see. I'll have the 5 for you, my MVP picks. I'll have those for you. I'll release them Friday. I have my straight up picks coming out tomorrow, maybe. I may have a podcast tomorrow on it, but that may actually get postponed. But then my MVP picks, I usually wait until Friday.
Perfect. Dennis Allen after 4 games, apparently.
Dang. So Matt Rule's 5 games is like pretty close.
Well, but like, I mean, like, how long was Dennis Allen actually the coach for the Raiders? Like, was he a coach for only literally 4 games? Because that's
embarrassing.
Yeah. Matt Rule is just a very unfortunate case. There is
Yeah.
it rules no more in Carolina.
Dude, I was getting worried for him. He was looking disheveled. Like every time I saw him, it looked like he was stressed out. His hair was going. I think this will be a good break for him. He'll be back in the NFL, doing something at least.
That's fair. David, do you have anything you want to sign off with for this week?
Oh man, I was just thinking about that 49ers Kansas City game. I think that's a game that could be very interesting. I really I was looking at it +1. I could be persuaded to pick that like really easily because 49ers again they're getting some more guys back and they were down I think like what 11 or 12 starters last week. So like what they looked like last week is not what they're gonna look like this week. So we'll see what happens. But I like that pick a lot actually.
All right. Smart man.
Thank you.
Max, anything you got to say for the sign off today?
I appreciate you guys, first of all, for having me. It was so much fun talking sports and movies and everything with you guys. I appreciate you asking about my personal life. I got to vent a little bit, some therapy session, and then you guys just keep doing what you're doing. I don't know. I don't mean to get too deep, but podcasting can be like a crazy thing because it's like, man, you land a big interview, you're on top of the world, and then sometimes it seems like you're just recording and recording. What are we doing this for? So you guys just keep doing it. You guys have something special that you're doing, and the chemistry that you guys have and the way you guys go back and forth. You guys have awesome sports knowledge. So I just appreciate you letting me come on here and talk sports with you guys.
Honestly, thank you so much. We appreciate having you. You are one of the most knowledgeable people in the game for NBA. You can talk any ball. I know you can. It's great having you. You have a great personality. You fill the room, and I know that there's gonna be a day where that camera's gonna be shining on you, and you're gonna be the focus of the room. And everyone that's gonna, like you said, like the people that wanted to crap on you at the beginning when you have a podcast, and then when you get there it's going to be a whole different game because they're going to be watching you on whatever morning show it may be, whatever night show it may be. I know you're going to get there because I know you have that drive in you. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being a part of this. And for everyone, what's a check down with Chandler and David? I am Chandler, he is David, with special guest Max Van Auken. I appreciate you, man. You guys have a great night. Peace.
Peace.